Hello Mechwarriors. Today we're doing a review of the Bullshark 1. The Bullshark 1 is very different than a lot of the other ones. This is an inner sphere mech, and it has the ability of having 5 energy points, 4 ballistics, and 2 missiles. In addition, the original OEM build that comes on this is actually a pretty formidable build, and it's something I would consider taking into the battlefield, and have. But the build that I've come up with doesn't use the energy points whatsoever. Instead, it really relies on having the ballistics and the raw firepower that MRMs can give you. But I'm still going to show you the other 3 builds in attack formation. So let's take a look. First, as a review, let's take a look at what the Bullshark is. Well, the Bullshark's got some really nice features about it. First of all the weapons are located above the torso point of where the legs attach. If you look here, you can see they're well above this area here. They're not above the cockpit, but on the same note, they do have some weapons that are above the cockpit. So you have 2 missile points, and they are definitely above the cockpit, or at least in line with the cockpit. And then slightly below the cockpit, you have the 4 ballistic points. Those are very useful in this position as well, because you can do left and right doors and corners activity. And also, if you have to peek over the top of a hill, you don't have to expose the majority of your mech. You will have to expose some, though. But if you're going to peek over the top of the hill, you probably want to take advantage of the missile points anyways. In addition, if you had energy weapons on here, you would have a few of them that are up high as well. So that's going to be a benefit as well. But I'm not running any of those like that. I'm making this a straight ballistics velocity build. And what I mean by that is I'm running MRMs and I'm running AC5s. Light AC5s to be specific. But let's go ahead and take a look at those 3 different builds.
Target destroyed. Artillery strike online. Target destroyed.
So now that you've seen the 3 different possible loadouts that I've come up with, which is the OEM, the LRM, and the MRM, we're back to square one. So what makes my build special? Let's take a look in the Mech Lab. So as I mentioned, I have MRMs and I have AC5s. I'm running 4 AC5 lights. I'm running 2 MRM40s. This gives me a pretty decent amount of firepower. Now you do have to be careful with this build because it's taking a fine line of managing heat management, and speed, which is not very great, and the right amount of ammo. And I feel like it's a little bit light on the ammo for the MRMs, but that doesn't necessarily make it a bad build. If you're sparing and you choose your points of battle and you stay with your team, you're going to be able to dish out some pretty decent amount of damage, and depending on what map you're on, you may want to consider putting the MRMs in chain fire. I typically have my AC5 lights in chain fire, so 1, 2, 3, 4 left and right sides, and then I use these on button 3 as an alpha strike, and or if I'm getting light on ammo, I will use these in chain fire. But when you take a look at the overall build is what you're getting. So the meat and potatoes, first of all, we have full armor on this. So we're not scrimping anywhere. And that's why the legs look so thick. But heat management, we're at 1.24. We have a firepower of 100. And the speed is at 50.3, which is not incredible. When you come down and look at the original quirks that come with this, we're getting a missile cooldown of 25%. We're getting a jam reduction if we run ultra autocannons or racks of minus 20%. And then we're also getting a 5% reduction in overall heat. Now when you look at the survival, the base armor, center torso we're getting plus 20, left and right torso we're getting plus 25, left and right arm and left and right legs we're also getting an additional plus 20. And so that's what we're getting out of that there. So we're not getting a lot in that regard, but we can take advantage of it by going through the skills. So what am I running additional on this? I'm running a cool shot that's fully skilled out, and then I'm also running 2 artillery strikes. That's going to help supplement your damage output. When we come down here to the skills tree, you take a look at this. We're running maximum cooldown, so that way we can fire these as often as possible. But in order to keep that in such a way that it works best for you, you also need to max out your heat generation control, because cooldown just basically means you can fire the weapons more often, which means you're going to produce more heat. So you got to be careful with that as well. So heat gen is maxed out. We also went with size, magazine capacity on the ballistics and magazine capacity on the missile rack. This is also going to give us a tighter spread on the MRMs and a better chance of doing critical damage. As far as survival went, skull density, armor hardening, reinforced casing all maxed out, and 3 points in overheat damage just in case. So that way when we do get really hot, we can still continue to fire the weapons a little bit without doing too much internal damage. Cool run and heat containment is a must. This is kind of a brawler build, so I would recommend having seismic sensor on there. If you want to scrimp on other things like cooldown and stuff, make sure you just leave your seismic on there. It's going to really be a benefit to you, especially as wide as this thing is and as big as the butt is. So you want to have good situational awareness. Seismic sensor is going to help with that. And as I mentioned, I added additional features from my cooldown, my cool shot, and then I wanted my artillery strikes to be as most damaging as I possibly could. So that's what I did with that. As far as fire control, as I mentioned, I'm firing my MRMs on button 3, and then I'm chain firing the left and right arms through buttons 1 and 2. I feel this is a really good overall build. It's not really, honestly, all that creative. It's a pretty simplified design, but I'm going to show you the other builds that I've come up with. Starting off with the one that came original on it. So the OEM Build has 2 SRM6s. It has 4 AC5s on here with a decent amount of ammo, I might say, for those. And then it has the 5 medium lasers that they're using on this. Now, the nice thing about this build is it's got good versatility. So you have a set of 5 lasers that aren't going to run out of ammo as long as you have the weapons on board. And then you have a decent amount of ammo for the AC5s and for the SRMs. As far as the locations, I'm not really that keen on it. And I'm really not keen on the amount of armor they put in the rear. That is, to me, just absolutely wasteful. That is somebody who's doesn't have very good situational awareness in my book. The next build is actually pretty original. All I really did is basically swap out the MRM40s with the LRM 20s with Artemis. The ammo amount is actually pretty decent, and this is going to give you some good ammo output, and you're going to be able to do some decent damage with this. And this also has a pretty different, decent alpha strike as well. Not as good as my build, but it definitely does the job. So when you go back to the original loadout, as you can see, the OEM build is not terrible, and the MRM build seems to do the most damage of the 3 builds, but that doesn't mean that you can't do really good damage output running this with the Artemis equipped LRMs. I myself have been really kind of leaning into the brawler builds a little bit lately, and I feel like this really is a good addition to that. So anyway, I hope you like this loadout and build. Give it a try. Definitely pick up the Bullshark 1 anyways. Even if you just run the OEM build on it, it's actually quite tanky. And you can do some really decent output. The only thing I have about that is the heat management on the OEM build is a little bit on the hot side. So that's just something to consider.
Target spotted. Target spotted.
Artillery strike
Target
online.
spotted. Yeah.
Artillery strike activated.
Target spotted. Target spotted. Target spotted. Target spotted. Target spotted. Target spotted.
Yeah.
Target spotted. Target spotted.
Y'all are
Target spotted. Target spotted.
Left arm critical
Target
damage.
spotted.
Target acquired.
Target spotted. Target spotted.
There's something between Gulf 5 and Fox 5.
Target acquired. New target acquired. Heat level critical. Left torso critical damage. Target acquired.
That guy's dead.
Warning incoming missile.
Next time you shouldn't just touch me on the back like that.
New target acquired.
video next.
Critical. Override.
Okay.
Artillery strike activated. New target acquired. Right arm. Override shutdown.
I am overheating.
Don't overheat.
We've destroyed target Alpha. Target spotted.
Heat level critical. Override engaged.
Fuckers.
Damn, I thought I killed that guy already. He's dead now.
Picking on me because I'm small, and they're angry because they're getting their ass beat. But y'all are just... They're pumped. See this assault mech hiding in the corner because he's scared.
kill him. Oh, there
Command
you
is
go.
happy to hear of your success and achievements on the surface.
You get the drunk spider sealer through. There is no higher rank.
Well, I managed to share some kills with you guys. Well, I did pretty well.